Hey y'all, I haven't been on here in ages because I gave up social media for all of October, and then I have been away at Rockville Writers Colony this past week for a writers in residence retreat to work on my book series that I was able to solidify the container for. I have been trying to figure out how to write this book for 25 years. And I have it. I have the plan in place. So it was a really successful week. Even though I was always had an eye to the craziness of the election. Now, I'm here to say a little something about this trip. I like to keep it real. So I am trying not to scroll, and I think I'm probably going to do another break for the rest of the year from the socials. I think I'm only going to come on occasionally to promote stuff that I'm doing for my business. But I need to tell y'all a story that I just saw, and it was like a stream of consciousness, and I want to share it with you. Okay, I just saw an article about how exciting it was that Joe Biden today announced his task force for the virus, to work on trying to get this virus under control. And people are just shitting themselves about it. I mean, they're just having orgasms over the fact that he selected legitimate human beings that actually are know something about and will, actually, give advice and advise. Anyway, people are this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Okay, so that's what he's supposed to do. That is his responsibility. That's a minimal responsibility that a president is supposed to do. Just because it hasn't happened in 4 years doesn't mean that we need to come all over ourselves about this. This is baseline. This is baseline. But what we have to remember as we go through this is we don't need to throw a parade every time he does something that he's supposed to do just because. The last dude was so incompetent, right? So my concern has been when I listen to anybody talking about the Trump administration, they say things like, oh, I just wish that we had the Obamas back in office. I wish things were like the Obamas. I mean, on a surface level, yes, I wish I could, I am excited about being able to listen to the president talk and not want to vomit all over myself. But the underpinning systems that allowed for Trump to become president are still there and are still alive and are still viscerally toxic and need to be burned to the ground, regardless of the fact that Biden now is going to hopefully make it easier for us to burn it to the ground. So please remember that him doing his job is the minimal of his job is a baseline that we just haven't seen in 4 years. Okay, so don't everybody calm down, take a deep breath. Okay, we can be excited. Yay, the surface level stuff is happening and it looks normal again. But the system has never been normal. And I will leave you with this personal funny story about my own life. My first major job out after college and after a stint where I did sales at Dell was I took a job at Vanderbilt in the School of Nursing as a alumni coordinator. And myself and another person came in as the assistant director and the alumni coordinator. And we were hired by a brand new director of the director of development for the School of Nursing. So there were three of us, and we were all brand new, and we were all doing alumni and development work for the School of Nursing. And apparently, whoever had been in those roles prior to the three of us coming in all together kind of at the same time, had been just incompetent, bad incompetent. And so the three of us came in, and we just came in every day, and we just did our jobs. Like, we took the job description and we did the baseline. Like, I would send out thank yous when money came in. Okay. But because the person before me had not made any effort, they had just been so bad, right? My work, my half-ass work that I did, where I put together events that were fun for alumni to come to, and I kept in touch with the alumni base and managed the alumni board and made sure they had everything that they needed. And it was basic stuff, right? It didn't even require a full-time job. It was a part-time job, but I was getting paid full-time for it. But the fact that I did it, we received awards first of all, we raised money. We started raising money again for the School of Nursing, which hadn't happened in a long time, apparently. It had just been whoop. So our numbers started raising because we started raising money. And people started talking about how appreciative they were for the time that we took for the thing. But we just did our jobs. But the previous people had been so incompetent, apparently. We didn't even understand how it was possible that we were receiving awards and that we were getting such but people would come in and they would say, oh my God, the last people, we haven't had decent people in here in years. Okay. There were days where we would take lunch, me and the assistant director, who was a good friend, who became a good friend of mine. The director had nothing to do with this. And we would have lunch, and then, because we would have gone out the night before, because we were all in our 20s. I was in my early 20s. He was in his early 30s, probably knew better. But we were always just partying at night. We would get to work, and we'd do our work hardcore in the morning. And then we'd go to lunch. And then if our director would have anything that she was doing in the afternoon where she wasn't going to be on campus, we would sleep in our cars. Sometimes I slept under my desk. We would lock the door. We shared this office, and we would lock the door and then get under the desks and take a nap. Okay. But because it had been so ass backward, apparently, prior to us walking in there, doing the baseline mediocre job description and no more was as if we had transformed the fundraising and alumni experience for the School of Nursing. But we hadn't, okay? We hadn't. Yeah, we supported so many people, and I had great relationships, and the things that we did were really good and valuable, right? I'm not undermining that. But I'm saying that ticker tape parades for people that are just doing their job are not as necessary every single second. And so I'm having to create myself boundaries around this, people losing it over what common decency, what we should be doing intrinsically, what the president of the United States should intrinsically be doing because he's the president of the United States, right? Should just be an automatic. Celebrate, praise him. I'm not saying not to praise him, but I'm just saying don't let the praise and don't let that surface stuff cast a veil over the truth of what's going on in the underbelly, okay? Because we've had lots of presidents for lots of years that have on the surface done everything right, and they have not taken care of the country. So keep your eyes open and know that there are lots and lots of layers, okay? And so the surface layer may have us looking better in the next few months than we did, but what was on the surface the past 4 years is in every layer of of our systems, all the way down to the foundations, which are black and rotting. So please don't forget that. And please don't sit back and say, well, good for him. He's got it under control. So now I can sit back. That is not how this works. Okay? He's doing his job. And so we still have a responsibility to do ours and to hold them accountable. Okay, bye. I love y'all. Cheers.